Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Chrissy B Show. Now, what are you like with money? Do you try to be responsible but still end up getting into debt? And if this is you, tonight my show is really going to help you. And if you say, I'm already good with money, I'm great, I have no problems, but you want to keep it that way, so this is the show for you as well. Now, my guest tonight is occupational psychologist Stephenson, and he's going to be telling us all about how to be happy and how to balance the money issues as well, and also how to get out of debt. And also today we're going to be featuring a very interesting challenge that I did a few weeks back called the Nuts Challenge, and I did join in with a few lovely ladies, so we're going to be showing that shortly, well, actually after the break. But first, let's speak to Bianca with some news. Hello, Bianca.
Hello, Chris.
Oh, someone's tweeting. You hear that tweet?
I thought that was you. I thought that was my phone then.
Oh gosh, I'm getting tweets. Okay.
You're getting busy.
Yeah, go ahead.
All
How
right.
are you, sorry?
Oh, I'm
How's
fine,
it going?
thanks, Chris. How are you?
I got distracted by the tweets.
I thought you did, and your lipstick looks lovely.
Oh, thank you, so does yours.
Thank you.
We're bright lipsticks today, both of us. So.
It's bright, isn't it? It's a bright day today. So in the news this week, 2 lazy climbers face prosecution after they called a rescue helicopter for a lift to save them from having to walk back down the mountain they just climbed in Germany. So the friends aged 27 and 30 had apparently written in the climber's book at the top of the mountain, "We're going back down by helicopter," and they were very happy about that. Then they called a rescue helicopter on the way back down and told the crew that they were too exhausted to continue. Right, little divas, aren't they? And the pair could face, but they didn't have the last laugh, the pair could face up to 6 months in jail. And
well, that's dangerous, isn't it? We imagine someone really needed that.
Exactly.
That I can understand you've done it by mistake, because you know sometimes on the tube, on the tube lines, you can actually press the emergency button by mistake.
I've never done that. Have you done that, Chris?
No, but you know on the actual platform, you've got the red button, the green one, and the I think blue, and one is to get information.
Really? Where's that?
On the tube panels. Have you ever pressed I think it's the blue or green. I press it sometimes just when the next train is coming, if there's nothing on the thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it's very easy to press the emergency one, because it's just...
I didn't even know about these buttons on the tube. I'm always on the tube.
Next time you're on the tube, like when you're going home tonight, just check it out and press one of the buttons and just ask a question.
Is it
no,
by
it's
the
just
doors?
like on the platform, any platform you go to. It's like this big round thing, and it's got these 2 buttons.
I don't. You have to
do
show
it tonight. Do it tonight and tell me what you are.
I'll be looking around on the tube for hours. I've never seen that before.
Not on the train, on the platform itself.
Oh, on the actual platform.
Yeah,
Okay. All right, I'll have a look and I'll let you know about that.
That's quite easily done. You can press the emergency button quite easily.
But these didn't accidentally did it. They did it on purpose because they were too
very naughty
tired.
Girls.
And then they're gonna maybe have 6 months in jail or be fined £2,000. I don't know which one's worse. Both as bad as each other, aren't they? If they're convicted of abusing emergency signals. And the local
so that's how people get into debt.
Yeah,
which we're talking about today, doing silly things like that.
Yeah. So the local official said something similar to what you said, Chris. Basically, we want to send a clear signal that can help and rescue measures and search flights are only to be launched when absolutely necessary, because there is always a risk for rescue teams as well, so it's putting them at risk too. Yeah. They didn't think about that, so I'm sure they could have gone down. It's easier downwards, isn't it, than up?
I know.
I think they're just having a little bit of a laugh and
divas.
Yeah, right, little divas. And then also this week, contestants took part in an annual bee beard competition in Canada. So that's a bit of a tongue twister for me.
Oh, God.
So I know it's horrible, isn't it? So where their heads and torsos were covered by up to 20,000 insects. Each face or bee has to be sculpted around into a shape then competitors take to the catwalk. So they're actually modelling this, look. And then the winner...
I think the world's gone crazy.
A little bit. I've got to be honest, it's gone a bit crazy, hasn't it?
And how do they avoid being stung?
Yeah, so what they do is they, the beekeepers keep the colonies fed with sugar water. So they've got lots of sugar water so they don't sting as much, but people do get stung still.
Of course, because maybe like a bee doesn't feel like eating that particular food, maybe doesn't fancy it. And then
I want your neck, Chris. I want your neck instead.
Yeah, exactly. Want something different.
Yeah.
How can you tell?
I'm waiting for the main dessert later. And so the winner is the person with the most amount of bees measured by weight, and they put them on scales before and after. And the beekeeper, Chris, said it's much itchier than you think it would be. Well, it looks very itchy and it looks very terrifying as well. And so this year's bee competition champion is 20-year-old Miranda, who was covered with over 20,000 bees. It's awful, isn't it? And also another thing they do...
A lady
as well, yeah. we're fearless, we are, us women. And judges, not me and you, we wouldn't do it. We wouldn't do it. We can't take the credit.
I would never do that. I would never.
I can't even take it if there's a bee in the room. I'm like, I'm gone. And so judges evaluate each competitor whilst they perform in front of an audience. They've also got to perform. Not only do they walk up a catwalk, they've got to do a performance. So past contestants have been managed to hula hoop whilst covered in bees. Can you believe that? That's ridiculous. But what if a bee gets caught with the hula hoop and then like presses on and stings you further or something? I don't know. That's a horrible. I definitely wouldn't be doing that. And another story. So we all know little brothers and sisters can be very annoying to older siblings and vice versa. My older sister I was more annoying to her, I think, than she was to me. Like I would, my mum would say she has to wait for me after school, and I was always really slow getting out of school, chatting to all my friends and everything, and my sister would always want to leave me, but my mum would tell her off if she did. So last year, one misbehaving little brother humiliated his older brother with an embarrassing Facebook prank. And then 1 whole year later, the little brother went on holiday to Italy and returned to find his brother got his own back. And he waited a whole year to get his own back. So he'd waited till his little brother completely forgot about it, got his own back. So he spent hours tilting the room an entire 90 degrees to the right, meaning his brother's bed was nailed to the wall when he returned home. So he tilted his whole bedroom on the wall to the right-hand side. And you can imagine the look on his brother's face when he got back.
He must have been really upset to keep that for a whole year and then just plan that.
Yeah, I don't know what the Facebook prank was, but it must have been something bad.
That is super annoying.
And then in the end, the poor boy leaned on his bed and said, "I ain't no Spider-Man." Poor little thing. It's horrible, isn't it?
Where were the parents in all this? That's what I want to know. It's like, hello, you're seeing your son nail the bed to the wall and like you don't do
all that. And it must have taken him a very long time.
I know.
To get the
like they're hammering away for ages.
Exactly. And so they must have been on it. The parents must have been like letting it happen, or they must find it funny. They must be a funny family or something. They're always pranking each other. And last Sunday morning, Sarah Greet from Plymouth got trapped in a church when volunteers were unaware the mother of two was still inside. After hours of being stuck, she decided to try and get help by tweeting. So she wrote, "I'm locked inside St. Andrew's Church and I was in a private praying chapel, and when I came out, everyone was gone and doors locked. Hashtag Plymouth, hashtag help." She later added, "Trying to think of best way to get out of this church with minimal disruption. It's quite calm and peaceful in here, so I'm not in a hurry. Hashtag Plymouth." So she's clearly like quite enjoying it, just having a sort of relaxing time. So Sarah spent the next few hours tweeting for her freedom. In the end, she used her phone to find a number for the church caretaker. Why did she do that at the very beginning?
I just wanted to be famous.
I'm stuck. Someone help me. Why would you, if you had your mobile and all these contact numbers, why would you just tweet about it? I don't know.
I know, just phone someone.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone replied to any of her tweets. They're like, oh, it's just...
just leave her there.
I think she was coming across like she was having too much fun, so no one really cared.
Yeah. Oh.
All right, and you know some coffee places, Chris, that scribble your name on the cup when they're serving you? So they do that, right? So forget all that. A cafe has come up with a way of personalising your coffee order, having a portrait of your face printed in your drink. So customers at Family Mart in Taiwan are being offered the chance to have their pictures printed on top of the milk in their latte, and the pictures are created with edible ink.
Wow,
it looks lush, doesn't
that's
it?
amazing.
I wish they'd have that over here. It's lovely.
Now the question is, how much does that cost?
Yeah,
extra?
That's it. That is the question. How much does it cost, and also how long does it take to do that? Because it must take a while, mustn't it?
Yeah.
So none of those questions have been answered. So we don't know. But it looks
Don't
good.
get yourself into debt by going for silly things like that, only if you can afford it.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep banging on about debts today, not getting yourself into debt.
Save the money and go and get a normal photo.
Or just a normal coffee.
I would get one though. I don't care.
Oh, you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah. If it was more than, I think if it was more than about £8, I wouldn't get it.
You'd pay £8 for a coffee.
Yeah, take loads of pictures.
But you know what you look like. So why do you want to see your face in a coffee?
It's like all foamy and it's got your photo
but the
in it.
novelty wears off. You just see it once. It's like, okay, that's my face on a coffee.
I would love that, Chris. I love all that sort of stuff. What can I do? That could be my birthday present for next year, Chris. And this story really, really fascinated me. So a real live Tarzan has been found alive after disappearing 40 years ago in Vietnam jungle.
Joking.
So a father and son have been found in the Vietnamese jungle after disappearing 40 years ago. Local officials made contact with Ho Van, who's now 81, and Ho Van Lang, his son, who's 41, after villagers reported seeing the pair dressed in loincloths, which they made out of tree bark. They survived in a tree house in the rainforest for 40 years on fruit and nuts and scavenging supplies left from the Vietnam War. The former soldier Ho Van fled to the jungle with his then 1-year-old son after being traumatised by a bomb that killed 3 of his family members. So the family no longer recognise any relatives and can only remember a little bit of the language of his native land. And officials have arranged for him to go to have medical checkups before reintegrating him into society.
Gosh, that's so traumatic.
Yeah,
trying to sort of get back to normality, because that's been normal for them for the last
40 years is a shocking long time, isn't it? I don't think he's 81 now. I don't think he'll ever really be able to get back.
No, he'd probably prefer to stay where he was.
That's
to be
it,
honest.
yeah.
It's like a safe. He's managed to make it safe for him. We have to go to a break. Can't talk about it anymore. Sorry, guys. Thank you so much, Bianca.
No problem.
And after the break, we're going to be talking all about debts, and also we're going to be showing you the latest challenge, which was the nuts challenge that I did recently. So join us after this. Welcome back to the show, and now let's take a look at the latest challenge that I did. Hello everyone, and today I'm here with Wayne, who's the race director for the Nuts Challenge. Now Wayne, tell us, what is the Nuts Challenge first of all?
Yeah, Chris, it's a 7k, 14k, 21k, 28k assault course. You're going to be doing the middle section, which is probably about 1k.
And you have a lot of charities coming here as well, don't you?
Absolutely. I think we had 60 charities last March, and we managed to raise over £100,000 for various charities for that event.
Okay, now as you see, guys, I didn't bother putting on makeup because I'm going to get very messy. So, you know, I thought, what's the point of wasting the makeup, right?
Absolutely.
I don't need it, do
But
I?
I think some of the girls that are doing this with you are going to have a bit of a shock when it comes to makeup. Yeah.
Yeah, tell us about the girls that are coming too.
Yeah, they're the Crystals that are cheerleaders for the Crystal Palace, obviously. And they're doing this to raise money for charity.
Okay, then. All right, so I'm quite looking forward to it. I'm not really sure exactly what to expect, how I'm going to do, but hopefully I'll finish in reasonable time.
I think you will. I think 45 minutes is good. Under that 30 minutes is really good, but 20 minutes is exceptional. Let's see how you get on.
Okay, let's try the 45.
Let's do the 45, shall we? Give it a try, at least.
Yeah, definitely.
Good. Just think ahead, focus on the end. Don't think about what's happening to you in real time, okay? It's the end that matters, okay?
All right, so we're just about to start the challenge now, and I really hope I do well.
My shoes are so slippery.
Yes, definitely a challenge.
Keep your body weight.
Okay, The water's freezing and it comes up to here. But the girls are so sweet, especially Abby. She's really helping me out. Bless her. Where is she? She's up there. At home, I'd just like to introduce you to these lovely ladies here. You are?
Hi, I'm Lulu.
Hi, I'm Kim. Hi, I'm Kate.
Hi, I'm Tilly, and we are the cheerleaders.
Right, so what are you actually raising money for? You're not just here for fun, are you, today?
No, we're all raising money for different charities. I'm raising money for Click Sergeant, and I've raised £325.
Well done.
Both of us are sisters, and we've raised 1,750, I think.
Yeah,
Cancer research.
Great.
I've raised about £350, and it's for the Round Table Children's Wish in Bournemouth.
And would you recommend doing something like this for everyone that wants to raise charity?
Definitely,
Yeah. So much fun.
amazing. But it's challenging as well.
Yeah.
It actually went faster than what I thought it would. I think because
Yeah.
originally I was meant to do this on my own, but I joined up, I kind of gate crashed their thing here. And they were really encouraging actually. It's been really nice to do as a group, isn't it?
Definitely. Yeah.
Team building.
So thanks a lot, girls.
Thank you.
Thank you for fundraising. Well guys, I've completed the challenge in quite a good time. It was tiring, but I really enjoyed it, and it's amazing what you can do when you actually put your mind to it. I did feel a bit nervous before, but I was told that's quite a good thing to feel a bit nervous because it makes you more aware of your surroundings, so that's really good. I'm also proud of myself because I'm almost twice the age of some of the people that were doing it today, so I kept up and I did it, and I've passed the challenge, so woohoo! I'll tell you something, that was one of my favourite challenges, and I really want to do it again, but this time get really fit to do it because I was quite unfit. I wasn't really exercising before. And you know what, on that day I did about, I think, 5 hours of driving there and back, plus the challenge, and then plus I had to do a live show in the evening, so I was absolutely knackered, but it was really good fun, and thanks very much to Wayne and the team there at the Nuts Challenge. It was fantastic fun, and I recommend for everyone to do it. Okay, so now I have with me Kim Stephenson. We're going to talk all about debts, aren't we, Kim?
We are.
How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
So hopefully we're going to help our viewers tonight because, you know, there are people that unintentionally get themselves into debt, I would say, because there are obviously people that maybe they do overspend and they can't really kind of control their spending, but others, things happen sometimes, maybe an accident or sickness in the family, and they have to pay out much more than what they were expecting, so they get into debt in that way. But first of all, what would you say are the some of the underlying reasons why people get into debt, maybe some more of the sort of psychological reasons?
The big one, I mean, there's, you know, we could do a programme for like 3-4 hours quite easily just talking about, you know, what can happen. And like you say, sometimes it's accidental. But if you want, the biggest driver is basically trying to keep up with the Joneses. It's
really?
people, it's basically people tend to live right on the limit. So if something does go wrong, you know, they have a minor accident and they're off work for a month.
Yeah.
Suddenly, I mean, there were some figures done the other day. I think it's 18 days the average household is away from the breadline. It's they just don't have savings.
Wow.
So, because we got used to like 20 years of a really easy credit. The reason that people do that, because you say it to people and your eyes went, like this. It's like, I can't believe it. Surely people don't do that. But
Yeah.
we do, because basically human beings evolved to compete. Status was actually quite a good thing when you're a hunter-gatherer. It gets you more mates. It gets you to breed more, which means you pass the genes on, etc. Which means that, having the most cattle or having stuff, the biggest hut or cave or whatever, was a dead good thing. But we don't live like that anymore. But we still like it. So when the bloke up the road that annoys us, that has children who go to school with our kids, and he buys a new car, we have to buy a new car, even if we don't need one. I'm not being rude, but I'm sure you have the same thing. One of your friends buys this really nice bag, and it's like, bag, pair of shoes. But, you've got to have the hat to go with it, or whatever.
Yeah.
And suddenly, it's fine as long as the money's coming in and you got the credit card. But suddenly, if the limit on the credit card's there, or not quite all the money's coming in, because like you say, there's an accident or something happens, suddenly it's, oh my God, I can't pay. What am I going to do? How have I got to this situation? And then, of course, a lot of people will go into a big self-blame cycle, and they'll beat themselves up.
Which makes it even worse,
Yeah, and of course, a lot of people, their therapy is retail therapy. They're depressed, they're upset with themselves. Oh, how did I get into this situation?
I need to treat myself, I need to make myself happier, so let me go and spend some more money.
I need to walk down Oxford Street when the sales are on. Whoops. And I'm trying to make it a joke, but it is very serious. And you're right, the reasons are there, they're perfectly understandable.
Yeah.
But when you look at it logically, you think, well, why do we all do that? But to a greater or lesser extent, pretty much all of us do that. So that's the big driver, is keeping up with other people.
So Kim, after the break, we're going to go to a quick break shortly, but after the break, you're going to be helping our viewers as well to kind of maybe sort of prevent people from getting into debt in the first place, but also for those that are already in debt, also to give a few tips to the viewers on how to get out of that debt and not to let it become something that really ruins their life as well. So that would be great to talk about that and help our viewers after the break with that. And also later on, I'm going to be revealing some very famous people that were once homeless. So that's very interesting. You would never think that these people ever had a money problems or anything, but I'll be talking about some celebs and really famous people that were in a lot of financial trouble. So do join us after this and we'll talk about this more. Welcome back to the show. Today we're talking about debts, how to avoid them and how to get out of debt if you are in debt already. And I'm here with Kim Stephenson, and you've written a really interesting book, haven't you? It says Taming the Pound, Making Money Your Servant, Not Your Master. That's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we were talking about before the break. The main driver is people tend to compete with other people for things. And there's a lot of evidence now that actually having material values actually makes you unhappy. Right. So they're starting to tie in, kids who want an Xbox, want this, want that, want the other. I mean, all kids do to a certain extent, but the ones who are most materialistic are the ones who actually grow up to be the most unhappy.
Wow.
Possibly prone to depression, but just generally anxious, unhappy with what they've got, and never able to settle.
It's horrible, isn't it? It's
well,
really, I mean, when I compare how things used to be and how things are now and the way the children are, it's frightening, actually.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things. And I mean, reading your biography, I thought, biography, you know what I mean? Biography details on the website, folks. It's all there. It was sort of overcoming depression and things, and actually looking to have more happiness, because that's actually chapter 2 in the book is called Happiness. Because I think that's like an insulation against getting into money trouble, because again there's a lot of evidence that people who can set their own values for things that actually make people happy, and those are not material things. Often people, if only I had a bit more money I'd be happy. No, you wouldn't. But better relationships, doing things that are about helping other people.
Exactly.
It's like your challenge. you know, helping charities. People doing voluntary work tend to be happier. You know, it doesn't have to be through a particular church or organised religion. It's just you do stuff for other people. You have goals that are bigger than you. You can coach football, you know, basketball, whatever. Doing guiding, scout leader, whatever. Those sort of things actually show they make people happy.
It's funny, Kim, because even with this show, for example, sometimes people ask me, oh, it must be great to have your own show, and like you must be, you know, you must really love it. And I say, well, it's not actually the show, the presenting that I enjoy as such. It's okay, but it's not the presenting as such I enjoy. It's the opportunity to be able to help people and to be able to offer something to people rather than the presenting. Because to be honest, I'm a pretty quiet person. Those that know me, my friends and everything, they know I'm quite a quiet person. Don't really sort of like the limelight. But I just ended up here. I took it because it was an opportunity to be able to, you know, speak to people, more people than I would if I wasn't on TV. But that's what makes me happy, not the actual job of the TV presenting.
And again, it's another example, because self-development for most people, being what they can be. You know, you might not be great at something, but if it's something you enjoy, you know, maybe you're not a particularly good painter, but you like painting. And getting as good as you can get is really satisfying. And long term, that makes people happy, whereas money doesn't, particularly.
Oh. Sorry, cameraman, I think he just fell over in the corner over there. Never mind. You're right. He's okay, yeah, he's fine.
No, I mean, trying to make other people happy tends to make the person happy. So, as an insulation against debt, if you focus, I mean, that's why, you know, the subtitle of the book, if you like, is Making Money Your Servant, Not Your Master. If the money is the goal, you tend to be unhappy. If the goal is, I want to make people happy, I want to have good relationships with my family, I want to do something that's going to realise my potential, even if I don't earn as much money for it, I'm going to have fun with it. If you've got a particular talent. And
that would definitely avoid a person getting into debt, wouldn't it? Because you're not going to just be striving to get the best of everything. And
well, that's
not
it.
that there's anything wrong with that. Like we said, if it's, you know, if you want to have great stuff, it's fine. But if you think that's going to make you happy, it's not.
Yeah. Well, that's it. There's a big difference between somebody who, say, buys a Ferrari because ever since they were yay high, they've wanted a Ferrari and they love cars and they go to Formula One and they've always wanted one and they work out how to save up 120 grand or whatever it is and they buy
that's
one.
Different,
and if that's what they really want and they're going to get huge fun out of it and they're going to love it forever and polish it and not take it out in the rain and fantastic. I mean, they might be a bit sad and not have any relationships with people, but that, there's no problem with that. The problem comes if the bloke up the road's bought a Porsche and you have to buy a Ferrari to go one up. Because you think, well, why are you using the money for that? Because it's not going to be a satisfaction for very long. Because what happens if he buys a Lamborghini or something? What are you going to buy then? Your own Learjet? It starts to get really silly.
Let's say if people have already done that and they're in debt already, what can a person do to get out of that debt?
One of the first ones is, it's going to sound like Dad's Army, don't panic. Don't panic, Mr. Benwick. No. There's a couple of things you can do. One is try and step back from it. I mean, again, in the book, I mentioned sort of meditation, things like that. It's de-stressing. So go and do some exercise, learn to meditate, yoga, things like that. Because what it does is, it substitutes that for things like we said, retail therapy, like going and digging yourself in deeper. But the big thing is, it calms your mind and it allows you to step back. Because most of the time,
assess the situation.
Most of the time when people are in debt, there is a lot of help out there. There's charities. Again, they're on there. They're on the website and things, who will give you free advice. And you can prioritise your debts, you can get it sorted, you can get help. You're not going to lose the house necessarily. It's not all black, but the trouble is that if you get yourself into a state and you can't step back from it, you can end up getting deeper and deeper in and thinking, there's no way out. And the more depressed you are, the more difficult it is to make sensible decisions. And it's a vicious circle. And that's what tends to happen to people. They panic and then they end up getting payday loans and things like that. And of course, that is the last thing they need to do. But it seems like the only option, so they do it, and then they're even more depressed, and then they're more desperate, and they can't think straight at all, and that's where you get really serious depression out of it, which is awful.
Yeah. Okay. So the first step, don't panic.
Yeah.
Get some help from us. What kind of places can people get help?
Well, I mean, there's Citizens Advice Bureau. There's it's CCCS, it's Consumer Credit Counselling Service, I think, which is one of the big ones in the UK. There's an organisation called Credit Action. If you Google charity debt advice, but don't go to somebody who's getting paid to give you debt advice, because basically they're going to be trying to sell you things. They're going to try and sell you voluntary arrangements and whatever. If they're doing legal work for you or accountancy work for you or something, they're going to be being paid by somebody. And that somebody's probably going to be you. And if you're in debt, that's the last thing you can afford. So if you go to one of the charities, they are there. You might have to wait a bit, but the point is they can give you priority things. I mean, there is a bit about it in the book. You can go and get the advice. So you prioritise the debts. So if you've got real problems, you can sort out. The second thing to do when you're not panicking, get yourself some good advice. And part of that good advice will be keep talking to the creditors. Because what again happens is people panic. They're getting stroppy letters from the bank. They're getting stroppy letters from the credit card. They can't deal with it all. And they bin the letters, or they get them and they stick them in a drawer and they don't open them. Yeah, and again, that's a disaster. So get in touch with them. And
it's quite a scary thing to do, though, isn't it?
It's very frightening. I mean, that's why people have to stand back from it. And it's also why, talking about, being happy, it's important to have positive goals. Yeah. It's important to say, look, I'm going to sort this out. I'm going to have the life I want, because that's a positive goal. If all you're thinking is, I just want to get out of debt, you're sort of in this big hole. And you're thinking about climbing up and climbing up and climbing, and you just get to ground level. And it's like a Your Nuts challenge. You're trying to climb out, and it's so hard, because you think, well, if I get there, I'm just at ground zero. Whereas if you're thinking, hey, when I get out, I'm going to go and have a drink with the girls, this is going to be great. You've got a positive goal, which is inspiring. But if all it is, I'm going to be out of debt, I'll get my life back.
And nothing, nothing to look forward to.
What's my life going to be? I'll be out of debt. I'll have nothing. Oh, Lord.
Now, after the break, we're going to be talking about some celebrities that had that same kind of attitude, because some of them were homeless, the ones that we're going to talk about. Homeless, but because they had their eyes on that goal, what they wanted to do, their dream career that they wanted, they managed to come out of that, and they're very, very successful today. Well, some of them are dead already, actually, because we're talking a couple from the past. But they became very, very successful, because they weren't just sort of thinking, I just don't want to be homeless, like you're saying. I want to actually achieve this for my life. So we're going to be speaking about that after the break. And if you want more information about any guest tonight, well, we've only got one guest tonight. Any information about Kim and also the show in general, you can visit the website chrissybshow.tv. So do join us after this. I am so super excited about this event that's going to take place at the Wembley Arena, the Love School. So I'm going to be hosting the event, and the couple that you saw, they are actually the speakers on the day. They're international TV presenters, coaches, and authors as well. So it's going to be a really great event. And if you'd like to receive this free magazine, I can pop one in the post for you. It's going to tell you everything about the event, plus it's got some really great articles inside as well about the 10 requests of every man and 10 requests of every woman, which are really interesting. So do email me if you'd like a copy of this, chris@chrissybshow.tv. I've invited Kim as well over here. Even though, actually that's for you, Kim. You can take that home with you. Have a read, and now you're invited to come along as well. All right, but let's talk about the celebs now that were homeless. And some of these will surprise you. Now, the first one here is Halle Berry. Now, so it says, Oscar winner Halle Berry once stayed in a homeless shelter in her early 20s. Now, when she first moved to Chicago, it says, to become an actress, Berry ran out of money, and her mother, don't know what you're going to think of this, her mother decided the best thing would not be to send her daughter money. So she actually refused to send her money. Now, I don't know if I would have done that if it was my daughter, but anyway, this is what happened. During these struggling times, the actress admits to staying in a homeless shelter. In an interview with Star Pulse, the actress said, "It taught me how to take care of myself and that I could live through any situation, even if it meant going to a shelter for a small stint or living within my means. I became a person who knows that I will always make my own way." Now, I mean, it's great in a way, isn't it? But I just think, oh my gosh, how can you, as a mother, how could you sort of let your daughter... Although I think some parents do help their children too much. Because, you know, the kids that, you know, they're still at home when they're 25, they're 30, and they can't be bothered to work. I had a cousin like this, actually, unfortunately. Didn't want to work, didn't want to do anything, just lived off his parents all the time. And it was a horrible situation. But then for her, she learned how to...
Yeah.
Which was really good.
It's very important. I mean, again, there's a chapter in there on educating children about finance. And one of the things I say in there is maybe not quite as steep as that, but it's let kids make their own decisions and let them take the consequences. If they run up a massive mobile phone bill,
let them pay.
Let them pay it.
Or make them pay somehow.
Yeah, I mean, you take it out of their pocket money for the next 6 months or whatever, they will learn while they're still young enough to make mistakes, so they're much less likely then to go off to university, spend the whole grant in the first week in the Union Bar, and then be wiring home, "Mum, Dad, can I have some money?" Because they've already learned, well, it doesn't grow on trees, I'm afraid, mate.
Exactly.
And you contrast that with, what's her name, Bernie Ecclestone's daughter, where he just buys her a £49 million apartment in London. It's like, well, yeah, okay.
But she doesn't even look after it.
Well, no, I mean, they've got plenty of money, but what happens if they have a big financial disaster? I mean, what grasp has she got, like Halle Berry had, of... She can make her own way, you know, or how you actually budget. Because, you know, Halle Berry said, "Live within my means." Well, what idea has Tamara Ecclestone got? So, I mean, if parents have got plenty of money, it sounds like it's being nice. But actually, you're not doing your kids any favours just throwing money at them.
That's right. And we've got someone else here. Jim Carrey once lived out of a Volkswagen camper van and in a tent on his sister's front lawn. Could you imagine that? So he says it was during these tough financial times growing up when he developed a sense of humour. So this is a report by Yahoo. And they said the comedian dropped out of high school and lived in a Volkswagen bus with his family parked in different places throughout Canada. They eventually moved into a tent on his older sister's lawn and parked the van in the driveway. So look, I mean, he's obviously known for his sense of humour and his funny films that he does. So, I mean, he must have gone through some really tough times, but that's what he says he developed his humour, which helped him in the end. Yeah. So,
again, it's building up. That's something that was a strength in him.
Yeah.
And it's like we said, that his one of his great gifts that he enjoys is being able to make people laugh.
Yeah.
He's developed that. He's worked on it. He's now made a fortune out of it. But he probably doesn't care. You know, if he earned a tenth of what he earns, he would still be doing what he really likes doing.
Yeah.
He'd be happy.
It's true. Okay, now we've got, maybe some of you obviously don't know this person, but the co-founder of Canada's largest specialty chain of coffee shops was once homeless because of a drinking problem. So while he was in his early 20s, Frank O'D was panhandling and living on the streets. That was until he and his business partner opened Second Cup, which is the largest specialty coffee chain in Canada today with 360 locations. I've never heard of it. Have you heard of it?
I have vaguely.
Yeah?
But
okay, well, I haven't been to Canada, that's probably why. But anyway, so you can see he was in debt because of drinking problems, but he got through it.
Yeah.
Which was great. Okay, and then let's see another one. Let's see. All right, after being fired, Jewel was homeless for about a month and almost died in a parking lot. So before becoming the multi-platinum singer, Jewel, she lived on the streets after losing her job. See, it can happen to anyone. You think you're secure and everything, and then you lose a job. And so in an interview with Adam on Show Bitsy, Show Bitsy. Let me try that again. Adam on Show Biz Spy. Sorry, the singer said, Show Bitsy. That's a nice name actually. Anyway, I ended up homeless because my boss propositioned me, and when I wouldn't sleep with him, he didn't give me my paycheck. I got kicked out of where I was living, and my rent was due that next day. I thought, well, I'll live in my car for a minute, get back on my feet. But I had bad kidneys, and I could never hold down another job because I got sick so often. I didn't have insurance and ended up almost dying in the parking lot of an emergency room because they wouldn't admit me because I didn't have insurance. I ended up homeless for about a month, and I went back to singing. So first of all, good for her, because some people, so unscrupulous, such unscrupulous characters, and they just think they can just force themselves on people and just proposition people. And they think everyone's desperate. And unfortunately, there are people that will go and do that because they are desperate or they want to, climb the ladder, but then they're selling themselves out.
Yeah, it's a form of bullying. I mean, it's totally unacceptable.
But she made it. Look at what she's doing today. She's a very successful singer. Now, one that you probably don't, maybe you do know, you probably do read enough about this, maybe the people at home. Daniel Craig, or James Bond, once had to sleep on park benches in London. Now, did you know that? So maybe you even walked past him. Maybe he even asked you for money and you said no. Or didn't buy him a burger or something. But he actually used to sleep on park benches. So he's now got several critically acclaimed movies on his resume. But Holly Scoop reported that the 007 actor used to sleep on park benches as a struggling actor. Now, who would have thought? Yeah. It's very inspiring, isn't it, to actually hear these stories, to think, these people made it.
Well, that's it. I mean, Bond is, the tagline is the man every guy wants to be and every woman wants to be with. And you think, he's basically a down and out, he's living in cardboard boxes or whatever. Because, actually, if you're not a top line actor, you don't make a lot of money.
No. There's a lot of struggling actors back then.
But the point is, he wanted to do it. Yeah. Because he could have gone and done something else.
That's right.
But he
stuck with
his goal. He really, really wanted to act.
Okay, let's just read one more. We've got a few more here, but we don't have time for all of them. So Chris Gardner, obviously, who inspired the movie The Pursuit of Happiness, which was acted out by, what's his name? Will Smith. Because I forget Will Smith. Okay, so aside from a movie based on his life starring Will Smith, Gardner also has 2 New York Times best-selling books under his belt. His autobiography, The Pursuit of Happiness, and Start Where You Are, Life Lessons in Getting From Where You Are to Where You Want to Be. Now, but before his story was shared with the world, Gardner was living on the streets with his young son. If you've seen the film, then you know exactly what I'm talking about here. At the time, he was trying to pursue a career in finance despite not having any experience in it or even a college degree. He received a spot on the Dean Witter Reynolds training program but couldn't afford to live off the small salary, and his wife eventually left. So, sometimes even those that you think are going to support you and those closest to you sometimes don't, and you still have to have that motivation to keep going for yourself in case you don't have anyone, because there are people that don't have anyone to help them out. But we don't have any more time because I've run out of time and I'm being told to finish the show now. Kim, thank you so much for all the advice. So like we said, it's not about the money, it's not about the material stuff. You need to find happiness for yourself first. Now, whether that's with family, with other goals that you have, with dreams that you have, go for that. And then money, as we said, should be used as a tool, right?
That's right.
And you will stop yourself getting into debt. So I hope that's helped today, folks. And we'll be back again on Friday. We're going to be speaking all about the internet. Is it a friend or foe? So do join us again then. And if you want more information, do visit the website chrissybshow.tv. Bye-bye for now. Actually do some wall climbing. We're actually at the...
Wait, let's try that again. Oh. 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 No, it's not working today.
I forgot the other question. Sorry. And, okay. What was the first question? Okay, all right.